Let's go. What's up, everybody? We're back with another Buttendz Sessionz episode. We're ready to jump into a sesh here. I got my man Vishal over in India. Let's have a sesh. What's up, man? How you doing, Vishal?
Rob, I've been chilling, eh? It's pretty good to see you again with a nice new setup.
Yeah, you like this little new background we got going here?
It's beautiful. How you doing,
Yeah,
Rob? Where are
exactly.
you? What's going on?
What's up?
How are you? Where are you? What's going on?
Oh, it's good, man. I'm doing well. I'm in Puerto Rico right now and gearing up for a big trip back up north on Saturday. Heading back home for Easter to Buffalo, and then we're packing up and heading to Chicago for the Chi-Town Shuffle in 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. Just recuperating a little bit down here, getting ready for the big trip, and excited, man. What about you? Where are you tuning in from today?
Just home, back in India. It's interesting. I got a very fascinating call a couple nights ago, and this one gentleman, he wants to start an ice hockey rink, and he wants to build an Olympic sheet in Delhi, and he wants me on as a consultant for a lot of things. So that's what's been going on recently, but that's about it over here.
Dude, I'm stoked to hear that, man. So how did the guy find you, and like how did he approach you?
So a couple years ago, when I was at Ice Skate, the mini ice patch in Delhi, we used to play hockey some nights a week, like every like couple nights a week, I think, or sometimes even three, whatever. We used to play hockey. This guy would come watch, and one fine day, he just comes up and says, "Hey, I also want to learn ice hockey and stuff." That's when he really started skating, and I think he's gotten really close to the Indian ice hockey community just by watching and just by seeing us play in different parts of the world, different parts of the country, and all that stuff. And so I think that's what has piqued his curiosity about the sport and about how it goes and stuff like that. Now he wants to build the rink, so pretty fascinating. But it was so
Wow, that's pretty
unexpected. I mean,
cool.
a few nights ago, I was just
Is he like a local business guy, or what is his relationship to like the business side of building a hockey rink?
I guess he's funding the whole thing, and plus, like, he's connecting the people who know what to do, how to do, and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I believe he's just sourcing all of the funds, putting some of his own, managing the whole thing, taking it as a business, driving the decisions, and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what he's doing. But it was pretty interesting to get that call because 2 nights ago it was just a random day, and this guy just texted me. He goes, "Hey, I want to talk to you about something." I mean, just like any other conversation, I thought it would be just another one. And calls me up and he says, "Vishal, you can't say no. I want you on as a consultant." And I'm like, "Okay, for what?" And then he tells me about this rink, and I was just so excited because, I mean, it's been years now that I've dreamt of growing hockey in India, and I feel like this is one major step, or this is one huge step that would lead to the growth and development here. So, pretty excited to do that.
Yeah, I mean that sounds amazing. Like I know right now, isn't there just like one small rink, like small ice facility in Delhi?
Yeah, there's just one like small. I feel like it's almost as big as or near about the same size as Elevator Two, the OG one. Yeah, yeah, just about that in India.
Oh wow, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I mean, if somebody wants to be playing competitive hockey, if you're a player in Delhi and you play competitive hockey, what are your options?
just go there, train by myself, or have like a couple more guys on the ice at best. Because it's so small, you can't really accommodate more players at all. Plus, it's more of like a public rink setup, like it's like a public skating setup, more of like a
Yeah,
recreational thing. So it doesn't have any of the safety netting or anything around the boards or over the boards. There's
yeah.
no glass either. It's really just open. So even if there's one person standing outside of the rink, it would be pretty unsafe for them to be there while they're playing hockey. Plus, again, it's a recreational setup, so there's a restaurant nearby, like just by the rink, and so the kitchen's exposed, the tables are exposed, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just like really risky to like play hockey, toss the puck around there.
Yeah, I
But it's
can
good for
imagine,
like
man.
personal development for sure. Like two or
Yeah,
three guys on the ice at a time. That's
it's
that's the
kind of
best you
like
can do.
what it sounds like when I skated down in Lima in Peru last summer, where it's like they don't really have safety glass. Like they're not really ready for like, full on pucks flying around. But that's exciting, man. So to be at the ground floor of the possibility of a full regulation sized ice rink in Delhi, that must have been pretty exciting to get that call. What were you guys talking about as far as like the first steps, or what are your initial steps to get the ball rolling on the project?
I mean, he's just in the initial phase of like planning the whole infrastructure and stuff. And so I've asked him to look at rinks outside
Yeah.
especially, and some of the rinks at like prep schools also, like SAC.
Yeah.
It has left a mark in my mind, because like the amount of amenities there, the amount of training space, the amount of space to like warm up and gear up, and just the setup of locker rooms and stuff was just so fascinating to me. And so I feel like while you're doing it, why not do it like the best do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
Definitely.
potentially to have like an NHL game someday. You know what I mean? Like an invited NHL game in India someday.
Are you guys talking about going that big with the facility so that it could like literally have a capacity of a crowd and possibly thousands of people to come watch? You know, is that the kind of facility that the guy is proposing to you as far as building?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not just proposing, he's actually gotten the land allocated to himself. He's gotten the lease and all that kind of stuff out of the way.
Wow.
Right now he's looking to like, and he's pretty aggressive with it, so too. So that's also like one of the most exciting parts about this too. So, um, yeah, and so I mean, the one thing that I had a vision about this whole thing is, NBA did a couple games in India a few
Yeah.
years ago. Are you aware of this?
No, who?
NBA. So
Oh, the
Sacramento
NBA?
Kings and like
I didn't know that. Did they play in Delhi or Mumbai or where did they play?
they played in Bombay.
Did they?
Yeah, and that was how like the NBA camps or NBA academy started in India. I feel like if we provide an infrastructure where we could hold an exhibition NHL game, or like a stadium series NHL game, or whatever, right? Not stadium series, sorry, excuse me, but like just any NHL game there, have a couple of teams come on and play, like that would be a great entry for the NHL or for hockey to get into India and like get popularity as well.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see the future, I think, of all sports, but definitely maybe for ice hockey as well, because it's such a global game. Like, and the way that, it's easier now to travel. You could envision seeing like divisions in Europe and maybe South America and maybe India and China if the game really does continue to just grow globally. That's kind of exciting for the growth of the sport, especially obviously being where you are in India. We've talked about this a lot as like the potential for the sport in India, as something for young Indian kids to be able to be like, I want to be a hockey player. And if you have a rink like that that's available, yeah, the sky's the limit, I guess, right? Like, and also what's interesting too, what you said earlier about your experience coming over 2 years ago now when you came over to Canada and spent that time at SAC and got to see like a high, professionally run facility and school. Do you think a lot of those experiences now, you mentioned like the construction of the rink and like you really saw like first class facility, like what are some things that you think you'll take from that experience and try to bring it to the project that you're working on now over in India?
It's so funny because I was just thinking about it. I was thinking about it in my shower. It's so funny, right? And the detail, right? The details of sack that I was thinking about were how like there's a coach's room, and then there's an entry from the coach's room to the team's room, and then how the entries and exits were planned there. I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like it doesn't get better. You know what I mean? I feel like it doesn't get more organized, more or better planned than that. And so I was trying to recollect all of that. I was trying to remind myself of the time at SAC that I spent in, um, and I'm just like, and I'm mentioning it also like, hey, when this rink is being built, like this is the idea that I'm going to propose to like have entries and exits like this and here and all that kind of stuff. And it's funny how it's been 2 years and I still remember the details of like SAC, for example, right? It was just crazy to me. It
Yeah.
doesn't
I
get better.
remember it must have been interesting for you too. Like, not even myself, like I say, like I take for granted being around rinks in North America, but even myself, like growing up in the hockey rinks in North America, being at SAC was one of the, it's like a really well put together prep school, and obviously their facilities are great. What were some of the other things that you took away from your time there when you were up? What exactly were you doing at SAC? What were you doing with them?
So it was honestly, this is a big question that Coach Manning, the head or the hockey director of St. Andrews College, also he'd also asked me upon my arrival there. He's like, what do we call you? Are you coaching intern? Are you an assistant coach or what is it? And so we were so confused, right? Because it was the first time that such a setup had been put in place, because there's always been coaches who've come from countries like Canada, or the US or Europe even, or European countries even, come to India or China or go to Malaysia and places like that. So like coaches from like developed nations to like developing nations, or like building hockey nations or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
this was the first time that we were doing reverse. Players for or coaches or whatever, right? People from the non-hockey traditional markets or whatever are going to like the hardcore hockey mecca of hockey. Like Toronto is like mecca of hockey, right?
Yeah.
And so Coach Manning, upon my arrival, he's like, "What do we call you, man? Are you an intern? Are you an assistant coach? Are you a trainee? What is that?" And so we're still unclear of the position per se, but like what I did get to do is I get to watch how the coaches and hockey directors run the programs. I mean, St. Andrews College first hockey, they play hockey at such a high level, and just to be able to be around them was such a sense of learning for me, right? I took away.
Sure.
I mean, honestly, if I point down, like I have like 20 things that I learned from there, and starting from like how to be an athlete on and off the ice, how to conduct yourself well, how to be disciplined, how to um, figure out how the mental state, how your mental state affects your performance on the ice and off the ice, and all of that kind of stuff, teamwork, and all that kind of stuff, right? And to be able to watch a team that's playing at that level so closely for a month and a half was just a blessing, no less than a blessing, honestly. And so and then I was able to learn some of the coaching tactics from coach and or from the coaches there. I was able to coach like kids for like U8 players, I think, U8, I think that's what they call it, U8, up to like 18 AAA or whatever. And so that was pretty cool to be able to
Yeah.
watch different groups of players, different teams of players, conduct themselves in the business. It was awesome.
Yeah, what an experience. I remember coming up and spending some time with you up there at SAC, and seeing you in the locker room with the boys and just seeing the way they embraced you. Obviously, it must have been really cool to have that experience.
Yeah, and not just that. And from there, I remember you picked me up from the Toronto Maple Leafs area. I was in the locker room of the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was awesome. And then from there, we went up to Moose Factory. That was a completely different experience. So I feel like
Yeah.
my trip to Canada was just a roller coaster ride with experiences one after the other. So that was,
You
and
were like
plus
you,
being,
you were like, hey man. Yeah, you were like, hey man, you want to come on this crazy trip to Moose Factory and take a helicopter to the island and do clinics? And I'm just like, what? I'm like, that sounds like quite a hockey adventure. So I had to jump in on that with you for sure.
yeah. And the funny thing was, I feel like when I told you what it was, you just knew it. You just knew you had an idea of what it was going to be right away. But for me, it was just like, I mean, I still remember when Hockey Love Borders, when they were asking me, "Hey, do you want to do this Moose Factory thing?" And I'm like, I don't even know what Moose Factory is. Like,
Yeah.
what is it, right? Because like I have no idea, right? And they're like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I'm just like, and everybody's telling me, "Oh, it's going to be such a cool experience and adventure and all that kind of stuff." And I'm like, "Sure, I want to do it." And then I'm like, "Hey, can we get Rob along as well?" And then you come along, and we get there. And it was just a complete, I don't have words for it. It was such a different experience, such a cool experience, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, how would you compare like Moose Factory and your experience going to Moose Factory with some of the hockey experience that you've had inside of your own country? Because Moose Factory is kind of like a remote place, right? Like we had to take a helicopter to get to the island. It's not something that's like those players don't have access to typical sorts of hockey environments like normal, like players from say Toronto might. But well, would you say there's like a comparison to some of the different hockey environments that you have in India to the Moose Factory?
Yeah, I feel like the one big similarity that I see between Moose Factory and India hockey is, of course, it's remote, and of course, it's like small community coming together playing hockey. But I feel like how hockey has shaped the community to be, right? That's
Oh,
one thing
okay,
I
yeah.
see very similar. Yeah, like I mean, everybody's like connected to everybody. They're all taking care of each other. Like they're all, they're brothers and sisters, and they're coming together, playing hockey, having fun. They don't have almost. no care about, or they have no care about what's going on in the outside world in the cities and stuff. They're just following NHL from like far away. They're enjoying. I feel like it's a lot of that in both places. But yeah, there were a lot of differences also. I feel like Canada, like Moose Factory, was just a little more exposed to NHL, of course, because geographically it's just closer to the NHL and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But plus, there's an NHL player, a former NHL player from there as well. So that I'm sure causes a lot of impact as well. But hopefully, we'll see some NHL player from India also someday
I mean,
in the NHL.
I think that's definitely something like that you have to envision at some point happening. There's obviously a lot of people of Indian descent who live in the U.S. and who live in Canada and are involved in hockey, and I'm sure a lot of those people have connections back home as well, family members, and now you're seeing it, right? Like you're at the beginning stages of a possible investment into the sport. Obviously, you're going to be other things at the rink too, but obviously, ice hockey is one of the main drivers of bringing the rink to town. Man, that's pretty cool and exciting. I know right now, the best hockey in India is probably up in Leh, in Ladakh. Have you talked to any of those guys about the rink opportunity that's coming to Delhi? And I wonder how that'll affect the hockey that's played in the north of the country as well.
No, I haven't actually. I haven't gotten to talk to them at all, and I'd rather keep it that way because I feel like for a lot of reasons, I also don't want to set like false expectations and stuff before it's really in a place
True.
ready to go. You know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is also it could lead to a lot of like political complications within the country, and I don't really want to get there before I have to.
Sure.
And so yeah, it's just been discreet so far, and that's how I'd like to keep it until it's in motion or until it's almost ready, at least.
Yeah.
But
So,
we do plan on yeah.
no, I was going to say, how far away do you live from Delhi?
It's a train ride. Distance wise, it's pretty far, but like it's an overnight train ride. Takes me about 13 hours to get there by train.
Whoa,
There's no
13-hour train? That's no joke.
13 hours. But yeah, but like Indian trains are pretty comfortable. You get to sleep on them, and like you have your own little cabin, and it's pretty cool. It's cool.
I still would like to, bro. I still would like to come over to India and do some traveling with you inside of the country. I know we talked about it, but I think this year, we've been talking with Mustu and Ule and the boys up in Leh about doing something. Maybe we come over a little bit early and do a little bit of travel within the country. You can kind of give me the lay of the land and show me some stuff, and then hopefully, who knows? By that point, maybe there's a little bit of a momentum going with the new ice rink possibility in Delhi. That would be quite an amazing opportunity and quite a fun trip, I bet.
Yeah, it would be. And I know we've talked about it time and time again. You'd want to come back, like come to India, go around places. Of course, hockey is such a beautiful part of the journey, but like, there's so much more to see in India also, right? And we're up in Leh, like it's such a little part of India. Like there's so many things to do.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it'll be so nice.
Of course. Yeah.
The train rides are also. By the way, trains are so much or so different from like trains in Europe or trains in even North America. It's crazy because I was just in Europe like last year, and I had to take a train ride to like we took a train ride in Canada also, right? What was it, like 3 or 4 hours long? I think.
Why? What makes them so different?
Yeah, I mean, because like I was in Europe last year, and I took a train. I took a train ride about a 4 hour long. And we were in Canada. We took a train ride too. What was it, like 4, 5, 6 hours long? I think.
Yeah, something like 6 hours.
6 hour train ride. No network, no connection, no service, nothing. We played chess, remember? And
you kicked my butt.
We had to sit upright throughout the train ride, and that is, I feel like, one of the biggest differences in trains in India versus the trains in Europe or even North America. Like, we get our own like seat to lay down on, like sleep on and stuff, bro. It's wild. Even if it's like a 2 hour train ride, we get to like sleep on the seats and stuff. It's pretty cool. Sometimes we get our own cabin. Like it's pretty nice.
I'd like to experience it, but only probably once. I did a 24-hour train ride. My last time I was on the train with Trav up in Canada, and it was tough, man. It was a tough trip, dude. Like we did like an overnight train. I was like sleeping in the car, and like it was just there was like train maintenance in the middle of the night. I woke up in the middle of the night. The train's not moving, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude, we are just gonna be here forever. But I don't know, it'd be fun to do India for sure. But why do you take the train and not just fly? Like, is it a better option or what?
There's no flights. I mean, there's no flights to Delhi from here.
Really?
I live in a small town. Yeah, I live in a
Yeah.
small town. There's flights that go to Bombay. There's flights that go to Goa, which is like a tourist spot. Like it's like a
Yeah.
beach town, you know. And there's no flight that goes to Delhi that's like a business town. I can't believe it. But that's how it's set up, and there's no flights to go to Delhi. Plus, also like there is another option. I could fly to Bombay and then fly from Bombay to Delhi. That would take the same amount of time that I would just get on a train and go. Plus, also like with our hockey gear and stuff, like hockey gear,
Oh
hockey
yeah,
sticks and
true.
stuff, it gets so difficult to like travel and like take 2 or 3 flights. They'll just
Yeah.
like screw me over with the baggage fee, bro. Plus,
Yeah,
like,
I
I
actually,
mean,
dude, I actually was, that was one of my biggest concerns when I came over to India, well, both times, is like, I brought so much gear. And I was like, man, this is gonna be a challenge. Like, just like, I had like 100-pound bag full of stuff and like sticks for the boys
yeah,
too, right? And like, but I was able to somehow get through and like, handle the Delhi airport and get up to Leh, and it was pretty smooth. But hey, so if they do get the rink going in Delhi, like, would you consider like relocating, or would you consider being closer to the rink, or what? How is that going to affect your living situation?
I would like to do that. Plus, with like, plus with our recent expansions of the business, it's
Yeah,
set up in a way that I can work remotely, so I can be at home and work. I could be in a different city and work. That was done
yeah,
on purpose because I still want to be connected to hockey, and I still want to be close to rinks and stuff, and I still want to
yeah,
travel
yeah,
and stuff like that. And so that gives me the liberty to consider relocating, or staying
yeah,
close to Delhi, or maybe traveling often. You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
if I play such a role at at the only rink in India, I'm sure I'll have the liberty to be able to travel frequently or um, just be around the rink closer, and I'll be happy to do that, of course.
That'd be pretty sweet, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's exciting news. But changing gears real quickly, I just wanted to talk to you too. Like, it's been now, this is our 2 weeks in a row. We don't have a guest, but I was like thinking for next week, I got a couple people lined up. I know you mentioned a couple people that you've been talking to. What do you think about getting back into getting a guest on the show? What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I think it'll be a good idea. Plus, with now that we've tested the mic and it works
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
and
So
I
how was
think
audio from last week? Was audio good last week?
yeah, yeah, it was great.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, good.
It was
Yeah, I got the
perfect.
mic going right now, and like, still got to figure it out. Like, I still want to figure out how I can wear headphones, because even right now, like having this conversation with you with no guest, like I still have to sort of like really lean in and pay attention. And I feel like it'd
Yeah,
be more connecting to have like really good audio coming from the headphones and a good mic. So, as we continue to do the show together, let's figure out ways that we can make it it's just more enjoyable and easier to do, and have it
yeah.
been better, obviously. Now we got our new background. Dude, do you think this is the way to go? We'll let anybody that sees it in the chat decide. What do you guys think of the background? I was actually thinking while we were talking, I'm like, what would I want to do differently? And I'm like, if I could somehow like customize this word here, obviously with Buttendz or Sessions would be dope. Like, if we could put our brand on this word, that'd be sick. Like, it just says hello. I think we have to figure out a way to fix that. But what do you think?
I think that's a pretty cool idea.
And what about you?
Well, I do think there must be a way to like upload a custom created background to our studio. I think I would
Yeah.
like that too. Yeah, I could look at some backgrounds for myself also. It's pretty.
Yeah, I think, dude, let's both come up with good backgrounds and have it be consistent. I like this, and this is good because, dude, I'm about to be back on the road, and I'm going to be in hotels. I'm going to be traveling every day, or every week. It's going to be a new place for the next little while. So I'm happy to have like if we can get like a sweet background like this and have it be consistent and pop, like that's huge. Which is obviously very doable nowadays with the tech. You don't have to have like a custom background, even though ideally having a good studio setup is good. With my traveling and lifestyle, it's hard for me right now because I'm about to go back on the road and need to be pretty light, but this is not
Yeah,
bad. But really pumped, dude.
yeah,
I'm pumped to get back on the road here. We got Chicago coming up. I got Boston coming up. I'm heading down to Florida. I got some every day new opportunities coming up. I want to bring my boy Jimmy Pellegrino on. I've been trying to convince him to come on the podcast. My boy Jimmy and I do the Buttendz Hot Ends Hockey Camp every year. It's our 5th year doing it in North Smithfield, Rhode Island this summer in July, first week in July. And he's like, man, let's start promoting some of the camp stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man, come on the podcast. Let's go. And so I'm trying to twist Jimmy's arm to come on. So hopefully next week we can get Jimmy on here. And he is the man. He and I played junior hockey together. We were roommates together. I'm sure we have tons of great stories. And his son, Caden, is a sick '09 player who is playing prep school hockey in Rhode Island. And Jimmy runs the Providence Capitals Hockey Club, so we'd have a lot to talk about. So that's who I'm thinking here for next week. But looking forward to getting some more guests. I know the episode with Boss, I didn't have good audio, unfortunately, so I apologize for that. But the clips so far have been pretty good, right? With the dubs, what do you think?
Absolutely, and Josh mentioned too in the behind the scenes that Boss said that she loved the video that we had posted. So I think that's a dub in the books, boys.
Yeah, for sure. That's a dub. I think we're just going to have to roll with. I told you I was going to try to find a secondary audio. And unfortunately, I was actually doing homework on these DJI mics. And if there was a setting where it saves the audio, there's like a memory in these things. But I didn't have it enabled. So I don't have the audio from the other day for the Boss episode. So unfortunately, dude, what do you think? Like, should we just post it with bad audio and have it be there? Or should I ask Boss to come back on the show and redo it? Like, what do you think? Nah, not a fan.
I think that there has to be a way to have better audio, to have that audio fixed, that very audio fixed before it goes out on YouTube. We'll figure it out. I think I'll take another day to like figure it out. If not, maybe we could get Boss over again.
Yeah, I mean, we got the clips, but the main episode is kind of just trash because I had bad audio that day. But I don't know, man. I think if you think you can fix it, but you don't think we should post it the way it is, or just keep it in the can, or what?
No, I think I would put the posting it as is would be the last resort. But if I could fix it before, that would be the ideal scenario. And I would disagree with you. It's not entirely trash because there's a lot of good value that Boss has provided on the show, and so
I tried my hardest to ruin it, but boss killed it.
she killed it. She crushed it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, she owned it like a boss that she is.
Yeah. Big shout out to the boss for coming on the show, and looking forward to next week. Hopefully we're gonna get somebody. Either my boy Nettie's gonna come on, I get Jimmy on, or maybe we do multiples. Who knows, dude?
Yeah, who knows? We could put together the show, but it's coming along pretty well, eh? We've come a long way from doing the whole Jugaad setup, if you remember. Jugaad in India is basically just trying to put things together. That's the funny term.
Jugaad setup?
Jugaad
setup.
Jugaad, Jugaad. Yeah, it's like Jugaad.
Jugaad.
Jugaad is basically like fixing things, putting things together in any way you can, and just getting them to run. That's basically what Jugaad is.
Yeah.
And that's what we did for the better part of 2 years of doing this sessions, right? And then finally we got Riverside, and life's been so much easier since then.
Yeah, this is sick, man. I'm liking the way it's already shaping up too with this new background and like just everything's starting to come together. So let's keep the momentum going. And like also I want to work on an intro so that we don't have to do the intro where it's like it'll intro us and then we can just be like, hey man, what's up? Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be on track. We have our target, right? Till episode 50, we should have a great intro already in place, right?
Sounds good, man.
Awesome, man. Hey, I want to go back to NHL for a second, though. Lots of great events have been taking place in the NHL space right now. What do you think about this?
I'm excited, man. Playoffs are coming up, and I'm really excited heading up north here next week, so I'll be able to be more engaged with like what's going on in the NHL. And like we got a bunch of guys, a bunch of Buttendz players that are playing this year for different teams. So I got a bunch of different teams to root for in the playoffs, and I'm looking forward to being a small part of some kind of run, hopefully for some of our guys. So it's gonna be intense. What do you think?
Absolutely. Who you got rooting for? Who do you think is going the longest in the playoff?
I'm rooting for my guys, so it's hard to like root against anybody specifically. But obviously, I've been really pulling hard for the Senators this year. Tim Stützle's having a breakout year. He's one of my favorite players. Obviously, my boy Keel Thomas out in LA is going to be. Hopefully, I think we're going to see some. I think Keel Thomas is going to make some noise in the playoffs this year for LA. He's just a big time player, and I just have a feeling that something's going to happen where he's going to end up being called upon to play a major role, and I'm excited for that to watch. Who's going to step up and who's going to be helping their team out, and obviously we're rooting for our guys too. We got players on a couple other different teams as well, so we'll keep an eyeball on that and be able to talk about it also on the sessions too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and how do you feel about what happened recently? Alex Ovechkin breaking the record
Yeah, man. Awesome to see Ovechkin break the record and do so with such class and such style. And like I said, dude, having the chance to meet him when we did the demo was like one of my highlights for as a player. You know, like just being able as a kid, I always wanted to like any NHL player to be like, whoa, these guys are like, untouchables when you're a kid. And then like all of a sudden I'm standing there hanging out, showing Alexander Ovechkin Buttendz grips and the product that we, invented. And for him to be so cool and so welcoming into the room when he was like, I'll never forget it as a, as a hockey player myself. So a super surreal moment and couldn't be happier that he broke the record in the manner in which he did. And that we had the opportunity to like, be there along the way to, you know, have some up close interaction and feedback from one of the all time greats. So it was a classy move from the guy for sure.
Absolutely, and I still remember us talking about it while I was in Canada too. I still remember talking to you briefly about it. It was so cool. You
Yeah,
told me
that's
how
right.
actually.
We did the Moose Factory trip like right after the Ovechkin demo, so it was like fresh right then too.
Oh
That was
yeah,
wild.
totally,
So,
absolutely.
but yeah, man, looking forward to seeing how the rink goes in Delhi. You'll have to keep us posted on that, like what's happening. So, what are the next steps you have with the guy? Like, do you have like a meeting set up, or what? Where are we at in the project?
Yeah, I'm seeing him in Delhi next month. But till then, he's figuring out some logistics of infrastructure, all that kind of stuff. But till then, we're still like connected over the phone. We talk pretty much like once a day for like an hour ish. It's because we're both so excited, right? This is such an exciting project for him and for me as well. And we decide that it's going to be like a 15-20 minute call, but then it ends up being like an hour long call. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to
That's so
be
cool, man.
involved in this.
If there's anything I can do to help, man, just please don't hesitate. Even if it's just to bounce ideas off of, I'd love to hear where you guys are at with it. And we can also talk about it on the show too. So that's cool.
Absolutely. I'm gonna have. I mean, I already have. Buttendz is like the first company that I have on the list to be approaching. Hey, Rob, we're doing this in India, bro. You got to be a part of this.
Yeah, man, that sounds amazing, dude. And
It's
looking
only
forward to
fair.
seeing how you guys do it.
Absolutely. What a great chat tonight, Rob.
Yeah, great session, bro. As always, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week.